We're about to step into filming our TBR territory, but before, we do need a little bit of coffee.
Just a dollop of honey.
We're going to need a single shot of espresso. You're also going to need some oat milk, my preferred milk of choice, but also some Chobani vanilla creamer. At least this is the one I use. Milk is done. Pour that in. And now let's do some creamer. Creamer's up, bottoms up. Now you know, if you ever wonder what coffee does Mel drink, this is the one. Friends, my favorite time of month is here. Don't we all know it? I get a particular sort of excitement around me when it is time to make TBRs, and today is the time where we make our March TBR. So welcome to my TBR Prom Jar Chooses my March reads. Very, very excited about it this go around. Also hope you enjoyed the little b-roll at the beginning with the coffee. I've gotten loads of questions over time and I have included it in a weekly reading vlog, but that seems like so long ago that I can't remember when exactly it was, but I always get questions about how I make my coffee, that my coffee looks delicious, so I hope you guys enjoyed the little tidbit at the beginning. It's very simple, it's very easy, I'm very traditional when it comes to my coffee. So if you ever wonder what is Mel drinking coffee-wise, that is the answer. Plain and simple, always wins the race in this case. But coffee aside and intro aside, February was a slower reading month for me. I was still planning on reading a crap ton, kind of like I did in January. I was planning on reading about 10 books and keeping up that same pace because I really enjoyed the routine of it in January. However, loads of things happened in February, personal, family-wise, health problems, hospital goings, and just a lot of unexpected concerns and emergencies that a girl needed to tend to. So reading was a little bit slower because my brain was not all in tune with the reading portion of things. But come March though, I am hoping to get back into my regular routine, my regular schedule. That includes obviously uploading as well, and hopefully all things will go smoother this month so that we can get some good reading done. And I can't wait to see what ends up on my TBR this month because honestly speaking, I am in the mood for anything. I don't know what I'm gonna end up choosing. It could be anything, but let me give you a little rundown of what I read in the month of February and what is still remaining on my TBR this month so that we can mix and match and we can pick and choose what stays and what goes because maybe some things will have to go. So for my February TBR, these are the things that ended up being finished. This still has a bookmark on it because as we speak, it is February 28th, but I will be finishing this as soon as we hop off the filming. But I ended up reading Ricochet by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I also read Her Radiant Curse by Elizabeth Lim. I also ended up reading What You Were Looking For Is in the Library by Michiko Aoyama. Also, in the list of books I read, Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski, which is part of the Witcher series. And last but not least, Written in the Stars by Alexandria Belfior. So those are all the things that I managed to get off my TBR card. And now let's go over the things that remain, because there are things that remain, baby. And quite a few of them, actually. I'm also going to put my hair up because it is getting progressively hotter here in Panama. It's actually quite bad. We're in our summer season right now. And let me tell you, the weather is an up and down. You never really know what you're getting. Today is a hot day though. Now onto the things that remain on the TBR. We actually have quite a few, which is a problem honestly, because if it were up to me, I'd leave all of these on the TBR cart. However, it's a little bit excessive because I ended up reading things, oh my god, that were not on my TBR for February. So it caused a little bit of an issue. So we still have got some leftovers. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This one I am keeping in the TBR cart because this is an audio read for me and I am planning on finishing my current diamond painting project in March, and so I will definitely need an audiobook for that. Hopeless I have half a mind to keep in the TBR because I feel just based on recent events, I feel like I'm gonna need an Elsie Silver book. These two books right here, I don't know what to do with these because I feel like they're gonna make me cry. So let's set these aside and make a decision in a little bit. A Fragile Enchantment is staying because this is my February book club pick for Patreon. So I want to make sure to keep that in there because it needs to get finished by March 8th, I think, which is when the live show is. Double check all these things later. We Free the Stars, I unfortunately did not read in February, and I am taking this off the TBR only and only, hear me out, because there's another Hafsa Faisal book, also known as her newest book. For now, I am going to set that aside because we have another Hafsa Faisal book that has bigger priority, and so that one is going to be put away from the TBR for a second. And then Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Still really want to read this, so I'm going to keep this in the TBR. So we've got 4 books currently in the TBR. Now for the 3 keys and Sweet Bean Paste, I don't know what to do because I've been feeling very hyper emotional given loads of events that have happened as of recent. You'll find out properly in the weekly vlog coming up very soon, but I don't know that I am in the mood for a book that'll like make me sob my eyes out. I have half a mind to keep these in the TBR, at least one of them, because we already have 4 books, so we'd have to choose 5 books. So which one of these 2 do I keep in the TBR? Let's read the first line line of each. We've already read the first line of Sweet Bean Paste last time, so I know it's a good one. But we have a sweetly scented breeze blew along Cherry Blossom Street, which rhymes and I love. Sentado stood over a hot griddle inside the Doraharu shop as he did all day yesterday, cooking pancakes for his dorayaki. The 3 keys. It says the following. A very wise person once told me that there are 2 roller coasters in America, one for the poor and one for the rich. I've only been on one of those roller coasters and I thought I was never going to get off. This is a problem because I really like them both. I think I'm gonna leave them both in the TBR. Don't judge me for it. So this is how we're looking so far for the TBR, and then we've got this entire space left. So I'm thinking, even though I should technically be picking 5 more books, I'm thinking we can pick 5 or 6. That could be exciting. So let's get into the choosing. We already know her. We already love her, sometimes hate her. It's fine. It's a constantly fluctuating relationship, but aren't all of our relationships fluctuating in life? So here we are, the TBR jar that makes all the decisions for me, although I do kind of have some level of agency left. And let us fish. It still smells like coffee and I love it. But let us fish for our very first prompt. Okay, gonna go for this one. And the very first prompt we have got for March is gifted by someone. Oh! Well, I gift myself things all the time, so that's not a problem, baby. So we've got gifted by someone, and that someone is going to be me, because I love self-love, okay, in every way, shape, or form, and you don't have to tell me twice about it. It could also be that it was gifted to me by the universe. It was gifted to me by the lovely author who wrote it, figuratively speaking, but semantics. And for this one, I'm going to choose Bride by Ali Hazelwood, because don't we all know how excited Mel is about this one? I absolutely love paranormal romances. And let's go on a little deep dive, okay? It's not deep at all. It's kind of a dive if you close one eye and spin around 3 times. I used to read paranormal romance all the time on Wattpad. And I'm talking vampire, I'm talking werewolf, I am talking also kind of supernatural, so succubi, demon, fallen angel, all the things. I absolutely love it. There is a particular kind of angst that comes with these types of stories, and a very specific set of tropes that also comes within that I absolutely love. I think particularly enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers in this setting is always something that I adore seeing. Sadly, a lot of paranormal romances that I have tried that are traditionally published are nowhere near as good as the ones I used to read. And so in the years I have been doing this, you know, I've been on BookTube, I have yet to find something that I actually really enjoy aside from A Discovery of Witches, which we know Mel read, Mel loved. My roommate is a vampire, another really good one, but Ali Hazelwood, famously known for writing Omegaverse Raylo fanfiction. I trust her, okay? Eyes closed, don't have to spin around anytime. I trust her. Every single one of her books that I have read, I have given 5 stars to. Ali Hazelwood is indeed an autobi author for me, and so this is a no-brainer. So in this one, we have got a little bit of a marriage of convenience, enemies to lovers setup. We have got Misery, who is a vampire councilman's daughter who has been living in hiding for years now in human territory. But come to find out as the book starts, the relationship between the vampires and the wares are not really good, and so she offers her own hand in marriage, is my understanding of this book, so that she can marry conveniently the alpha were, whose name is Lo. Yes, Lo Moreland, and things kind of go from there. There's obviously an ongoing rivalry between species, a lot of tension politically, and I absolutely love, I've talked about this countless times before, and whenever people have asked me like, Mel, where do you find those books? Where do you read them? I always say Wattpad is where I found a lot of the Fated Mates books that I have read. I love Fated Mates. I love mates of any kind. I love all of the tropage that comes with particularly werewolf romance book, which is a lot of that possession, a lot of that, you know, mate conversation, a lot of that, I guess, like servicedom that comes from it, where they are very attentive to their partner. They stand on equal ground, and I absolutely love it. Like, werewolf romances are just a specific kind of amazing. This partnership right here sounds amazing to me. Bride by Ali Hazelwood is going into the TBR. Not to mention that that's my Patreon book club pick for the month of March. So I'm just saying, if you want to join Patreon, it's always linked down below. If you want to read it with other people, if you want to enjoy all the vibes and the chaotic conversations that are surely going to ensue from this specific book, Patreon is always an option, and I'm very excited about reading this with you guys. A little bit of coffee to give us bravery for the next one. Let's get into our second prompt for March. I never know where to pull from, and I'm always scared of choosing one that I'm not gonna like, but oh my god, this is like falling apart. I need to refold these because at this point they're just spilling from the freaking cup. Out of comfort zone. What is my comfort zone? I guess my comfort zone is fantasy, romance. Everything else outside of that is kind of outside of my comfort zone. I think this is cool, and I think this always pushes me to read just something a little bit different. Now the question is, what do I want that to be? I think I may have an answer. I'm under here, you can see my hand. I am going for a book that is literally right at the bottom of my bookshelves. A book I've been thinking about reading for a really long time and I have not done that yet. And that is El Juego del Ángel by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. And my brain just immediately goes to this because I read La Sombra del Viento a handful of years ago. 2 years, no, not 2 years ago, 3 years ago, almost at this point. And I have yet to read book 2, which I know stands by itself, but connects quite nicely with the rest of the series, as they all do. And maybe this is the one to go. Maybe this is what I need to do, because I typically always read in English, so this is always like a good little push to actually read from my mother tongue. Un escritor nunca olvida la primera vez que acepta unas monedas o un elogio a cambio de una historia. I kind of like that. A writer never forgets the first time they accept money or a compliment in exchange for a story. Very nice, very nice. I think this may just make its way to my March TBR. This one is also set in Barcelona, but we are set in the 1920s, and we follow a young author who is obsessed with an impossible love that is seemingly never going to come to his life, and then he gets an extra enticing offer from this very mysterious character to write a novel like never seen before in exchange for a fortune and maybe something else. What that something else is, I'm unsure of, and I have heard that this is the best book in the series. I think it's a consensus typically within my group of friends or the people that I know that have read the series that this is their favorite. My brother, who rarely reads specifically books like these, he absolutely loved El Juego del Ángel, and all of my friends agree that it's a really, really good book. It's lengthy, but it's a really good book, so I think it's time. So this is definitely going to push me outside of my comfort zone, but hopefully in a really, really good way. If Shadow of the Wind is anything to go by, I think it's gonna be amazing. I think we're doing quite good so far. I do have 2 other books that, again, I would ideally really love to put into the TBR so I don't have to read outside of it, but I honestly don't know, because so far with that second prompt we got, anything can happen. So this go around for our third prompt, we have got, if I can open it, new to me author. This is perfect. That was so aggressive, I'm so sorry. But this is actually really, really perfect because I have been talking and thinking. I own all of this author's books, by the way, it's a problem. I am thinking I can get The City of Brass read in March. I look at this TBR, it's a little much, I admit, but hopefully we can make it work. So The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty is going into the TBR. I was talking about this book in a live show recently, and everybody was encouraging me to get this read. I've owned this series for a really long time. I even own the novella. I also own Amina al-Sirafi. I've never read anything by Shannon Chakraborty before, so I'm thinking it's high time. And I know in this one we follow Nadi. There was one point in time where I started reading the book and I never finished it. I got about 30 pages in and I just figured it wasn't the right time for me to read it because the book was really good. My brain just really wasn't engaging. So I know we follow Nadi, who is a trickster. She has a good sleight of hand. She's just very cunning. She knows how to get by. She knows what she has to do to make every day a livable one. And she always says that although the old tales remain in her city and her country, she wants nothing to do with it. She's okay with the mundane. She's okay with the normal. She's okay with having to figure out how to get by, whereas a lot of other people want to experience the magical. And she always says that the only thing she ever wants to do is to leave Cairo. It's also set in the 18th century, I do know that, but aside from that, don't really know anything else. And so I'm excited. It's even the way that I went through the trouble to actually get like the UK first print of Empire of Gold. And so the fact that I own a special at this point, because it used to not be as special, but now because this is out of print, it's really, really special. The fact that I own that and I have not read the series is actually a little bit of a crime. So City of Brass. Hopefully, I was gonna say finally happening, but honestly with the rate that my reading is going, I'm not so sure, but at least it's going in the TBR and that goes a long way. It also feels so weird to say that S.A. Chakraborty is a new to me author because I feel like she isn't because I've owned her books for such a long time and I'm somewhat familiar with like the popularity and like the how it goes of her series and her books that I feel like I know the books. I feel like I've read them, but I have not. And so it's weird to say that it's a new to me author because I do own everything by her, but she is. On to prompt 4 for this TBR. I'm trying to fish for like ones that we have not gotten. So I'm trying to look for prompts like these that are more folded than other ones. Let's see what we've got. Hopefully it's agreeable. Oh, this TBR is really agreeing with me. It's agreeing with me a little too much, but I kind of vibe with that. Book featured in list video that you haven't read, and that is perfect because the next book I wanted to add, again, is the newest Half Stuff I Said book I talked about in my most anticipated releases video, and I haven't read it yet, so that's perfect. And we have got A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. This is honestly absolutely perfect. The facts that I didn't have to stretch, I mean, the Bride one I kind of stretched out a bit, but the facts that I don't have to read outside of my TBR for this upcoming month is absolutely incredible. I also didn't realize how short this book is, because honestly, I mean, I'm just saying, in comparison to the We Hunt the Flame series, it's a big difference, baby. And so I am quite excited about this. We have got vampires, we have got thievery. It is set to be kind of akin to Six of Crows, but make it Hafsa Faisal. And in Hafsa Faisal I trust, because you guys know I've DNF'd Six of Crows one too many times when I've attempted to read it, but Hafsa, you have my heart, you have my soul, you have my everything. So I truly, thoroughly, eyes closed. My eyes were not closed, but imagine they were. I really trust Hafsa Faisal. And in this one we follow Arthi, who I know is the owner of a tea room that by night turns into a little bit of a blood bank. She feeds really dangerous vampires at night. In fact, very redundant, but there we go, that she feeds vampires at nighttime for a living is illegal. And so when her tea room is threatened, she needs to form an unlikely alliance with somebody that she didn't really think she'd ever have to align with, that is one good adversary. And she'll also have to recruit some of the biggest names in her town to be able to figure out, solve this mystery. And that goes from thieves to pickpockets to just all the different things from all the different skill sets to be able to keep her tea room alive and keep herself safe. And so I am very excited about this. In fact, let's give us a little teaser because I can't wait to read this. Oh, Act 1, Vengeance Never Dies. And we literally have actual blueprints for the little papers. I love that. The streets of White Roaring grew fangs at night.
Yes, they do.
I'm so excited about this. I have already fact-checked too because I wanted to make sure, because I selfishly wanted the vampire or all vampire to be the love interest, and I have been reassured that there is a vampire love interest. And so Mel is actually really excited about this, so can't wait to get this read. And then for our last prompt, I can't believe I genuinely said I was gonna choose 6 books because, girl, where am I gonna fit in that amount of reading? This is already a little bit outrageous for me, so I don't know how I'm gonna do it to begin with. I think this seems like pretty folded to me. It also looks like super small. We have got, it's a free spot. I didn't even remember I put this in here. I didn't think I had like jokers. Let me tell you where my brain was going for this this free little spot. Honestly, the universe said you're gonna go through it in February. We're gonna give you a little gift start March. So here's what I'm thinking. Okay, we've got 2 options, and one obviously is way more logical than the other. So I think the answer to this is pretty obvious. So Carrie Maniscalco recently announced book 2, I guess, in this new standalone series situation she's got going for the rest of the Princes in Hell. It obviously prompted me to want to read this one, but no, this can't happen while I'm reading these many books, especially with the specific books I'm reading. So I think I'm gonna go for the 7-year slip because I have been really excited about this book, and I had to literally get it ordered because the queue on my library was so long that it went from giving me a 20-week wait to suddenly it's saying several months wait. And so now I don't know when I'm getting the book from the library, so I just opted towards getting it physically. I've heard it's really good. Wasn't this like one of the most highly rated romance books the year it came out? I have never read anything by Ashley Poston, so I don't know what her writing style is like. I don't know anything about the author really, aside from being aware of her releases, so I don't know what to expect, but I'm hoping it's a good one. The setup for this one is quite unique because it's romance, but with a magical realism twist. So our main character, Clem, she is a book publicist, and so she is constantly burying her head in work. She was always taught actually by a specific family member, I think it's her aunt if I'm not mistaken, that she needs to keep her head down, focus on her her daily tasks and not really risk her heart too much. And I think this is particularly sad because she has got a very tricky track record with romance, and then she moves into her aunt's place and she sees danger there in the form of the love interest who has a southern drawl, who loves lemon scented flavored desserts and things, and he is just very, very sweet. He is exactly the type of person that she would have fallen for had she been in the emotional space to fall in love, except that he resides 7 years in the past and she resides obviously 7 years in his future, and things go from there. I don't know how we're going to figure out this situation, how we're going to fall in love, meet up, and all the things. I think it's going to be quite an interesting book. Again, I don't know anything. I love that I opened it to a page that said to Mordor, and I think that's hilarious. And so I really don't know what to expect. I'm hoping it's a really good one. I'm hoping Ashley Poston can wow me with my first read of hers. And yes, and this is the last book I'm putting in my TBR. And I think it's well-rounded. We have got books in Spanish, we've got middle grades, we have got literary fictions, we have got fantasies, fantasy romances, paranormal romances, we have got straight up romances, we have got high fantasies, we've got a little bit of everything. It's a little all over the place, but in the type of way that I like. And that is it for today, guys. That is my March TBR. That is my TBR prompt jar, chooses my March reads. Let's put everything back in the TBR jar, and I really need to refold these because it's getting a little bit out of hand, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. Can't wait to see what these books end up being rated. I can't wait to update you guys on all of the weekly vlogs and all of the vlogs I've got planned for you guys this upcoming month. Again, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. You guys know I say this every single video. Comment down below what you're planning on reading for the month of March. Have you read any of the books that I left in my TBR or added to my TBR this month? Do let a girl know all of that down in the comments. What did you think about them? And if you reach the end of the video, let us leave an angel emoji in the comment section for El Juego del Ángel. Gonna be a little bit out of context for the people who don't who don't reach this part of the video, but let's leave some angel emojis down below for that specific book. Don't forget that if you do want to support the channel further, I have a Patreon. It's always linked down below in case you guys want to join a book club, a Discord server, all of the live shows, and just all of the fun happening over there. It'll be linked at the top of the description. I love you guys so much, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye!